did not get the memo, today is Valentine's Day, and chocolates, flowers, and other gift items are expected to be exchanged among loved ones. Well, it's already past 3, so I'm guessing the exchange has happened already. If you haven't gotten yours, maybe it's never coming. But hey, delay is not denial. Couples, families, and friends are expected to embrace the spirit of love and appreciation. Now, it's important to know that this report was from this morning, so I expected is the language of will happen later today. Like I said, it's already past 3. But let's keep going. Hopefully, you will be met at the point of love. Restaurants, shopping malls, event centers are also expected to buzz with celebratory activities. Now, St. Valentine's Day is celebrated annually on February 14 to honor the Saint Valentine, a Christian martyr whose legend is associated with acts of love and compassion. Sometimes you want to remind yourself that this saint, if you're going by that narrative, and by the definition of a saint, was a holy person. And you call someone a saint, that means they are without blemish, without sin, or at least they try their best. If you look at the activities that follow Valentine's Day, I feel like the saint himself would be turning in his grave. But the Roman Catholic priest, Walter Ihejirika, urged couples, especially married ones, to reflect on their relationship's depth and purpose, fostering genuine love and commitment. Speaking to our correspondent, he emphasized that the celebration does not focus on ephemeral love or sensual love. Rather, it focuses on true commitment and dedicated love between soon-to-be wed couples and married couples. That's interesting. Let's hear the priest.
It is true that today everybody now talks about Valentine as a way of celebrating ephemeral love, love that is not committed, love that is just only sensual. That is not St. Valentine's Day. That is another thing. So people who do that are using St. Valentine to cover up for what they feel is love. Love is about commitment. Love is about sacrifice. Love is about unity. Love is about steadfastness. And that is what St. Valentine represents.
Okay, you heard the priest. In other words, he didn't say it like this, but I think I can give context to it. He's saying that if St. Valentine comes back today and see what they are using his day to do, he will shout Jesus, and not in a good way. The priest also criticized the over-commercialization of Valentine's Day and the misuse of the occasion to justify extramarital affairs.
Over commercialization of the Valentine's Day celebration is not so much a good thing, especially if it is meant only to buy affection, to woo somebody, to take advantage of the other person. Somebody buying, for instance, a married man buying an expensive phone for a young girl in a university with the intention of sleeping with that girl is not celebrating St. Valentine. The person is just celebrating debauchery, and that is no love.
Father, forgive them. Forgive them, Father. They know what they are doing, but they won't stop. All right. So the celebration of love. I think that we're old enough to understand all its forms and expressions. But there's something I'd like to say. Charity is a remote worker, which means that she works better from home. Charity begins at home. A few things I would say is don't show the world the kind of love your family has not seen. While we're out here celebrating and doing what we can to express love, ensure that people outside are not seeing a version of you or the kind of love that your own family have not seen. And following that, you can start with your community, your neighborhood, your street. There are people around you that need love in some way, shape, or form. Extend a helping hand. There's somebody in your street who maybe doesn't have school fees for their kids, does not have enough clothes. In whatever way you think you can, show love. And then from there, you can extend it to those who you don't know, if you have the resources. Orphans, widows, those that are disadvantaged in society. It really is a small gesture that could go a long way. You might just go ahead to pay somebody's hospital bill today. A person who is in need and needs something that for you means nothing, just something small. But to them, it's everything. There are people who, well, at the government level, pay jam form for people. There are different ways to really express this love. And yes, I know that the romantic kind of love is also important. If you have a spouse, particularly a married spouse, husband or wife, it's important that you express love to them as well. But I want to say, in different words than the father used, please, those who are not married, do not engage in premarital sex. And I'm not looking at it just from the religious point of view, but also a common sense point of view. Why? Because HIV is real. And also because Donald Trump is not in the mood to send aid to Africa anymore. He has expressed that. So you want to be very careful how you show this love. So happy Valentine's Day, and I hope that you're expressing love in its truest form. Now let's move from that to more serious issues. The Canadian government denied visas to Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff. Yes, indeed. It was the biggest story for major parts of yesterday and today. General Christopher Musa and other top military officers. The CDS explained that his delegation had been invited to an event honoring war veterans in Canada, but they were shocked after the embassy denied visas to some of its members. Let's hear directly from the Chief of Defense Staff.
I was actually meant to, by yesterday, have been in Canada, Vancouver, Canada. There's an event to honor our veterans, those that were injured during battle. Remember last year, the Duke of Sussex visited Nigeria with his wife. Through the Invictus, they have a foundation that they try to raise the morale of troops all over the world that have suffered one form of deformity or the other in the course of defending their individual countries. So we're supposed to be there. And actually, half of my team have already gone, but unfortunately, the Canadian Embassy, for knowledge best known to them, denied us visa.
Yes, indeed, that's what happened. So he said he does not understand why they were denied visas. As you can tell, there were reactions to that. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, condemned the Canadian Embassy's denial of a visa to Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa. The minister said the action by the Canadian Embassy is condemnable and shows a lack of respect for Nigeria as a country. He questioned how an average Nigerian will be treated by the Canadian Embassy if the Chief of Defense Staff, was disrespected in that way. Now, Tunji-Ojo expressed his grievance, but in more civil terms. Someone else had the same feeling, but a different reaction. And that is the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. He simply said, Canada should go to hell. Exactly as you heard it. But let's hear it from him.
Thank you for the courage to say that Canada denied you. They can go to hell. Even though it's painful, it's disrespectful, but we are people. We are strong. And I agree with you. We have to fix our country. We have to do it well.
Okay. He didn't have time for English, proper sentences, being diplomatic or civil. They can go to hell. Meaning he has checked. The road to hell is free. So the reactions of Nigerians on social media, because that's where you go first when you want to know how people feel, a lot of them said, well, it serves them right. I think it made our trending stories today. It does serve them right. They say Nigerians get rejected every day. And they've been begging the federal government to get these embassies to give them a refund or more respect. Now that the authorities are feeling it, they know how it feels. Okay. Now, what are my thoughts on this? First of all, it's important to note that Canada did not have a problem with the event that the Chief of Defense Staff needed to attend, because according to him, half of his team members were already granted visas and they had gone. So what was the problem? Now, it's not just the denial of a Nigerian. It is the rejection of a service chief. These are regular conversations we're just having in street corners, but it's a big deal. Because what it means by extension, and whether Canada meant it or not, is that it is a rejection of our institution and our country. Secondly, while you and I might be rejected at any embassy, they don't have the regular kind that we have. I want to go to the US, and if I'm rejected, well, I might see it as my fate. A person in that position with that kind of passport hardly ever gets rejected. Because a diplomatic passport, which is given to top government officials, guarantees visa-free travel. That's why it seems like our government officials can travel anytime, because their passport allows them to do that. It guarantees diplomatic immunity when they are in that country and access to consular services. So when a person with that passport gets rejected, let's put sentiment aside. Whether you love or hate government, you want to ask what really happened. Because that is the kind of person that gets certain privileges that you and I don't get. And so, I agree with the Interior Minister on this one, that if they can do this to our CDS, they can obviously do it to any Nigerian. I also agree with Ribadu, not the go to hell part, but the part where he said we need to fix our country. Because whether or not you agree, it has to do with respect. Now imagine that the Chief of Defense Staff, or whatever his office is called, from France, the US, or any of the first world countries, as we like to call them, was trying to get into Canada. It's not like he wanted to go on his own. He was invited for an event. Would they have rejected him? 9 out of 10 times, the answer is no. They wouldn't have. Unless that 10th time, it is a matter of utmost national security. It's an emergency, something beyond their control. But now another angle to this conversation is that people are calling out Ribadu, stating that he shouldn't have reacted in that way. He should have reacted in a more dignified manner. Notably is the former Jigawa governor, Sule Lamido. He blasted Ribadu over his outburst. He said there are better ways to express yourself. He said Ribadu's handling of the situation, calling it a political blunder that tarnishes Nigeria's global image further. And he said it's not his role, his office is not the best one to respond to that. That is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Well, as you can tell, I have questions. What do you make of the situation? The Canadian embassy denying our CDS a visa. And as of now, the embassy has not spoken yet. They've not dropped a comment, unless they did that 5 minutes ago. What's your take on Ribadu's reaction? Should he have been more civil, more dignified, or was that the appropriate reaction to the rejection? Call me and tell me. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06-416. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can watch and listen on those platforms, but more importantly, drop your comments. It's very important that when you call, you please turn off your radio. I'll be taking messages shortly, but let's go back and listen to our CDS, who was pained, obviously.
I was actually meant to, by yesterday, have been in Canada, Vancouver, Canada. There's an event to honor our veterans, those that were injured during battle. Remember last year, the Duke of Sussex visited Nigeria with his wife. Through the Invictus, they have a foundation that they try to raise the morale of troops all over the world that have suffered one form of deformity or the other in the course of defending their individual countries. So we're supposed to be there. And actually, half of my team have already gone, but unfortunately, the Canadian Embassy, for knowledge best known to them, denied us visa.
All right. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
My name is Jude Ubani. I'm calling from Omoma.
Hi, Jude.
Sam.
Yep.
Canada is an independent country like Nigeria.
Yes, it is.
Probably where policies are being followed. And we are looking at it from the angle of Nigeria. You know whom I am. You know whom we are talking to. And that's where we are looking at it. Denying the Chief of Defense Staff visa. And allowing many of his team to go through. Are we saying that they didn't follow due process in their own country? They have not taken the number they think their country requires for that event. We are looking at it from the big man. The Nigerian big man is supposed to be there. They have taken the number. How many times have Canada and other countries denied the citizens of this country visa? If I tell you my own story, you'll be wondering because I'm a common man. And I've been denied visa more than 2 times. Nobody raised hell. And look at the language of Ribado, they can go to hell. A language of somebody representing the country and speaking for the country. So we have to be more civil. Our leaders have to know how to approach issues. The way they go that disgracing us the more. They are big men in Nigeria, but they are not big men outside.
Okay, Jude. Now,
where
I
rules and the processes are being followed.
I have a question, or better yet,
we know how to handle issues.
Okay.
And stop disgracing us.
Hello, Jude. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay, it's obvious you can, because I can literally hear myself in the background. Okay, so what I was going to say is, while I understand that you may have been rejected a few times, we have to be realistic. The benefits that comes with the office of the CDS, you don't get it, right? I'm not saying that he's more important than you are. But I'm saying that if I'm rejected, while I might understand, and it might not raise question, there's nothing attached to it. But if a person with a diplomatic passport is rejected, you want to ask questions. It has nothing to do with whether you are for or against. It doesn't matter whether you like the man. You want to ask questions. Why was this person rejected? And we are all waiting for the Canadian Embassy statement. We all are. Kelechi from Woji is on the phone. Hello?
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Kelechi. I'm calling from Woji.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, so on this issue of the CDS being denied, it's not a good image for Nigeria. However, I like the fact that they are feeling the heat because people have complained when these embassies treat us badly, and the Interior Ministry does nothing about it. Now it has gotten to the top office. Their white has been stained. And now everybody is crying and complaining. And secondly, the NSA has no business in issues of foreign affairs. The NSA shouldn't have come out to say that because it's bad optics for us. It should have left it to the Minister of Foreign Affairs to handle. They are coming out to say Canada should go to hell. No, that doesn't speak well for us and for his office too.
Okay.
That's my contribution.
Well, thank you very much, Kelechi. Now, for context, again, I'm not defending Ribadu. Ribadu spoke just after the CDS, right? He was at the same event. It's not like he made a statement from his office. When the CDS was talking about the visa rejection, when he stepped off the podium, the next person to take the stage was Ribadu. So it's like he was reacting to what the CDS just said. Right? It's important we get that context so that we don't think, it's his office that alerted him and he put out a statement and all of that. Ken from Obimini. Good afternoon, Ken.
Good afternoon, SOC.
Good afternoon.
SOC, I think for me, it is a welcome development.
Okay.
Because there are some laws that are made for the common masses. And those laws, which they say that nobody is above it. I think these top officials are above the laws. Thank God that it had happened to the defense office. Then if I may ask, can't federal government investigate this particular action by the Canadian embassy? Because if you ask me, I would say that this particular officer has been traveling to Canada And why should this special duty of that magnitude should be denied from this man? There must be something to be fixed out of that particular action by that embassy in Canada. I don't know if you are getting me, Mr. SOC.
Yeah, I understand.
We always cry for when it touches the high people in this country, but when it touches us, they see it as a normal thing. For rebuttal issues, I think I have been saying it, the way our leaders speak publicly. I mean, I don't want to compare anybody with anybody, but it is unfair of our top leaders in this country. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Ken. Oracle, it's very good. The CDS was denied Canadian visa. It's Trump that will be the next to give our rulers close line. That's from Osaz. And Akpabio Jr. says, Oracle, good day. I felt aback when I heard Nuribadu go to hell, vituperation. So he's pained that his fellow Oga, the service chief, was rejected. Last, everyone in Nigeria is eating the humble pie. It's a common man that said the word go to hell, he would have been humbled with police, hounding him and bundling him into their rickety vehicle. Let them stay here. Where are they going to Canada to play games for? Let them take a walk, Jare. Doesn't the CDS have a diplomatic passport? How many people in Nigeria have been denied visa and never raised dust? Is it because it's not a common man that was denied? Ribadu and Co, sorry. You think it's Nigeria? Pabio is asking. Robin calls from HA. Good afternoon, Robin.
Yes, good day, the Oracle himself.
Good afternoon.
You see, when this news broke yesterday, it got me pain. Ribadu is a man that I personally respect. And the office is occupying is a very high office. And I do not wish and feel that he made that outburst. He knows the rot in the country. He's already having problems. What I said before, as against the corrupt leaders of this country. So if they deny the chief of whatever visa to, I will use that language, should go to hell. So if Nigerians are not go to hell, why are they going to France, going to UK and America and going to Canada? I think that is condemnable. I do not expect that from him. Good afternoon, Robin Majade Farmer.
Good afternoon, Robin. Chijoke from Rumo Crochet. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I want to contribute to the discussion that is ongoing.
Yes, please.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. You see, the statement of the National Security Advisor should be condemned by all right-thinking persons. Number one is a politically exposed person. And whatever utterance that comes out of his mouth is not just like what me as a person, is not like what I am saying. This is the key, what is it called, National Security Advisor of a country, telling another country to go to hell. That is like Nigeria telling Canada, go to hell. It is a very unguided utterance. I don't know what happened. And for the fact that Canada granted a part of that entourage, gave them visa and allowed them to go into Canada, will tell you that there is something that is wrong for them not allowing the Chief of Defense Staff of Nigeria to be granted visa. So it doesn't matter that he's the Chief of Defense Staff. He should follow the laws, the rules. So if there is if I am to be the National Security Advisor, what I would have done is to, measure what I say. Then Nigeria should have found out, okay, why was our Chief of Defense Staff denied visa into Canada? There are diplomatic ways to resolve these issues. Reach out to Canadian embassy. What happened? Of course, there is no way Nigeria will officially make an inquiry into the matter that will not get a response. Okay, this is the reason, this is the reason. And it can also be solved diplomatically. They come out in the public domain and you say, Canada can go to hell. That is the height of rascality. And it should be condemned. I expect your station to condemn it. You can't make any excuse for such. That is what I want to contribute. Thank you so much.
Okay,
My name
Chijioke.
is Chijioke.
Thank you very much. I will inform the station. We, as a group, will come out and condemn it, I assure you. I will not start now because I'm still taking calls, but at some point, you get statements. Hello, Sam. There's nothing to celebrate. Our leaders don't love us, and we're trying to hate them back with empty belly. For the CDS and Canadian visa issue, what the NSA did is one of the things that make other countries reject us. Other countries should join Canada in rejecting government officials so they lead us well. Emmanuel from Warfare says, please remember that the Canadian issue is not the only headline. I talked about Valentine as well, so if you'd like to respond to that, you're very free. Clinton calls from Bori. Good afternoon, Clinton.
Good afternoon, Sam Oracle.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, in the first place, I think Canada have disrespected Nigeria as a nation, denying the Chief of Defense Staff visa is a slap in itself on Nigerians. But for the new regard to make that utterance is also very unbecoming of him. It does not speak well of him as a public servant. So I think that Canada needs to give explanation to Nigeria on to why they denied a diplomatic visa to the Chief of Defense Staff of the country of our own nation. Then, New River need to apologize as well because he has made a very bad statement that paints Nigeria in a very bad light. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Kingsley calls from Choba. Good afternoon, Kingsley.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, thank you very much.
Let's go ahead.
Regarding to your topic, it's very sad, and at the same time, I'm not really surprised this kind of thing happened. Why I said it's very sad is because it shows how the rest of the world sees Nigeria, especially these Western world, the developed world, this skills. If the high-ranking official in the city can be denied it like an ordinary citizen, a high-ranking official that, let me say, is equivalent to the same in the defense secretary in the U.S. can be denied like an ordinary citizen. What more for us, me and you, and the way they see us? But in the same time, you should be a wake-up call to Nigeria, to this government. Because we take a lot of things for granted. Are you there with me?
Yes, I'm listening. We take a lot for granted.
Yes, we take a lot for granted in this country. Because, number one, and the government, that's why I said the government takes a lot. There have been numerous reports about our military. Gross human violation, human rights violation, corruption. They can do all these Western countries, they have all these things in their purpose day. So to all this story, we can go out, and now that Donald Trump is even the president now of the U.S., every country is sitting up. Every country is just trying to be careful, dealing with who they want to deal with or the issues they want to deal with. So this thing should be a wake-up call. Let the Nigerian government know that the world is watching. It's not all about, hey, we don't have respect for your officials and this country here, they're taking notes of everything happening in this country. Then coming to regard to the NSA, comments about the Canadian government or the Canadian the visa system. He himself, well, I don't know. He expressed the way he felt he can express himself, which I feel is totally absurd because being an NSA, I even thought he was the one that denied it because online the way they denied it. So I didn't even know his person was even here. But all the same, let them watch themselves. These countries, they are watching us. And let them expect more. Not only CDS, everyone. Let them head to rule.
All right. Thank you very much, Kingsley. I have an anonymous caller. Okay, I've lost that one. Let's take some messages. Over to WhatsApp. Hello, Sam. There's nothing to celebrate. Our leaders don't love us. I've taken that one. Please, it shouldn't just end at rejection. They should, with immediate alacrity, according to Temple of Eche, be deported back. Their children inclusive, Teacher Grace says. Okay, that's for those who are there. Let's see. Oh, I seem to have something coming up. Okay, we'll have to wrap up this conversation. We'll be back.